Muy buenas chavales, bienvenidos y bienvenidas a otro vídeo para el canal. Me tengo que poner el blog de notas porque, madre mía, ya son las 7 de la tarde. Estoy grabando esto que os vais a las 7, lo podéis ver aquí, pim, pim, en plan ahí 7 de la tarde, pero ya no hay luz, o sea, hay luz, pero no llega la luz, o sea, por eso tengo que poner el blog de notas porque, en fin, si no, no se me ve una putísima mierda. Me tengo que comprar una luz. Creo que mi chica me lo va a regalar por mi cumpleaños, entonces cuando mi chica me la regale, que me la puede comprar yo ahora mismo, sí, pero bueno, me va a hacer el cumpleaños ese, que está de putísima madre, y no sé si algo más, pero mínimo ese. Y entonces, eso, cuando tenga la lucecita, voy a poder grabar a la hora que yo quiera, por la noche, tal, no sé qué. Entonces, a lo mejor me animo a hacer más vídeos, ¿vale? Que lo sepáis que ya sé que con la DBDLEAGUE, por ejemplo, voy con mucho retraso, soy muy consciente de ello. Y eso, tendré que, gracias a las lucecitas, a poder eso, grabar por la noche sin ningún problema. Y me cierro la puerta, me pongo la lucecita y se me ve bien y podré eso, intentar hacer más vídeos, ¿vale? No prometo nada, bueno, me gusta prometer que cosas que a lo mejor no puedo cumplir por razones externas a mí, pero voy a intentar, de verdad. Así que eso, a partir de que me traiga en la luz, mi cumpleaños es dentro de un par de semanas, más o menos, ¿vale? Entonces, es a principios de octubre, así que, no es que cuando tenga la luz aquí ya podré hacer más vídeos, ¿vale? Que lo sepáis. De momento con el blog de notas. Es que mirad, sin blog de notas, a ver, ¿se me ve? Sí, se me ve porque tengo algo de luz de fuera, pero así se me ve mucho mejor, ¿sabéis? Entonces, bueno, así se queda. Entonces, bueno, venimos al siguiente partido de la DBDLEAGUE entre Oracle, perdón, contra NOKRON. Ya sabéis que NOKRON es el equipo de los españoles, equipo muy top, ¿vale? Actualmente segundo en la DBDLEAGUE, ¿vale? Y Oracle también es muy buen equipo, pero están en penúltimo lugar porque es que en la de liga hay auténticos equipazos y todos son jugadores excesivamente buenos, ¿vale? Entonces es una liga donde me cuesta mucho destacar y sobre todo, bueno, obviamente estar arriba de la tabla. Así que nada, NOKRON va segundo y Oracle va, creo que penúltimo en la tabla. Así que nada, obviamente parece que el favorito va a ser NOKRON, pero ya sabéis que al fin y al cabo una ronda se la puede llevar cualquiera. Así que veremos a ver qué tal va la historia. Primera partida vamos a empezar con Oni y las partidas siguientes voy a decir que son killers que van a bufar dentro de poquito, ¿vale? Killers que van a bufar dentro de poquito van a salir en las próximas partidas. Así que de momento empezamos con un Oni, killer que se considera tier bajo, que no se pesa en competitivo porque le cuesta mucho pillar el poder, mucho. Y he visto Onis que a lo mejor le hacen 3 motores y todavía no pillan el poder, literalmente. Y ya cuando pillan el poder lo pillan una o dos veces y ya está. Y ya se le acabó la partida. Entonces es un killer de tier bajo. Si os fijáis, va con fuerza brutal. Porque va a romper muchos palets en el early del juego, porque es la manera de defenderse contra él. Y aunque yo personalmente prefiero desconcierto, yo soy más jugador de Bloodlust con el Oni para dar M1s y jugar con desconcierto. A mí me gusta más, pero os digo, es para cómo está cómodo cada uno. Fuerza brutal también es buena. Erupción gancho plagante de interrupción corrupta, ya sabéis las 3 mejores pres que hay en el meta actualmente. Y va con alarón de velocidad y de tener más orbes de sangre. Así que nada, los mejores addons que tiene Oni. Vamos, a mi parecer. Así que vamos a ver qué tal lo hace el señor Zaka. Vamos para allá.
Completely Zaka's territory, the only player of all time that we know him as. If that's
Mira, se han echado solo 2 partidas con Oni, tier 3, para que veáis que es un tier 3, un tier ya tirando abajo. Y por regla general se han hecho 8 stage, 8 y medio. Me parecen bastantes, ¿eh? Ya como con hacer con el Oni 6 cuelgues, es una partida bien, más o menos. O sea, pero increíble. Y hay partidas, bueno, hay una partida donde se hizo 4 generales y en otra se hizo 5, vamos, que son 6 jugados. Y fijaros. La primera face down de tiempo medio, 3 minutos, chicos. 3 minutos de tiempo medio. O sea, es una barbaridad. 3 minutos, ¿vale? Ya sabéis que a partir de minuto y medio para arriba se considera que el Survey ha hecho una buena chase. Pero ya de 2 y medio, 3 minutos para arriba es ya una chase demasiado buena por parte del superviviente, ¿vale? Entonces esto indica que el Oni, obviamente, de principio de partida está tremendamente jodido, por eso es un tier 3, ¿vale? Así que nada, vamos para allá.
not pressure enough, I mean, they're gonna really need to perform for this set, but already we found our first chase onto what I believe.
Empezar en Torre Carbón en main muy peligroso, ¿vale? Ha usado muy buen el sprint, pero ya sabéis que el de frente está muy fuerte en el main, te puedes poner un de frente perfectamente y aparte está la ventana de infinito, se te puede joder mucho la chis aquí, veremos a ver qué tal le va a Zaka.
Corrupt on the top side of the map. This is a CT1, Core Tower 1, Oni match, something that we're very used to seeing. opting not to chase straight away, of
Muy bien, vale. Yo os digo, es que empezar en la primera chase es muy duro.
course. Thing with only sets is we want a strong early game. We want that first hit secured, and Zaka's just going to take that breakable wall and make his way over to this gen here, which looks like there has been a survivor working on it. See, we see scratch marks over there going to Shaq. And yeah, I mean, this we need a strong early game at least to set us off for this time. We found a chase onto.
Aquí lo que sigo con Oni es encerrar, ¿vale? Te pones a romper palet hasta que dejes sorprendente encerrado y te llevas el primer hit de la partida.
On
Y a partir del primer hit ya puedes ir encauzando poderes.
this eye loop going over to the Shaq area, and yeah, we'll see how fast Zach can get his power here. Of course, if anyone can do it, it will be him. But yeah, these two teams, whilst their standings in the league currently are, you know, basically polar opposites, they are still very strong teams, and that can't be understated there.
Absolutely, there's no one really who should be underestimated in Season X, but
Se va una God Rock, como viene aquí el superviviente.
so far Oracle doing an extremely good job leaving the generators early, even though in this difficult area around here. Now the filler pallet in the rock after being dropped can be quite tricky, especially against a
Ahí era un poquito 50-50.
mind game monster Zaka, but we won doing a good and ambitious vault here,
Qué pena, por poco.
just making sure
Muy bien, V1.
that Zaka doesn't have a chance to stay at the top, and once again the vault coming out. Zaka
Si os fijáis, superviviente a veces se para que el killer pierda blue last, ¿vale?
playing a little bit of Minecraft, collecting some wood here, but that's not
Qué pena, esta buena.
enough to get some blood
Muy bien el superviviente, muy bien, ha aguantado muy bien esa última.
out of Oracle's survivors. What a great chase! Zaka even forced to break this pallet now, losing any potential bloodlust, and that means we are back to the super standard M1 who doesn't have any advantage. We want just going to break, and yeah, have the pallets broken here, but when you can be sure that your team members are grinding the
Llega a la ventana.
generators, you are more than happy to do that. Back towards the shack as well, and a little bit of a mind game here,
Muy bien el superviviente, está jugando brillante el superviviente.
taking that vault though, especially when Zaka is coming into the shack a little bit too close, making sure we're staying safe. This is a phenomenal chase, Zach. This is what we want to see. This is almost a tutorial for an Oni early game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Zaka, of course, has been in situations
llega,
like
creo que
this
llega.
before. And
O debería llegar.
I want to point to the fact that obviously
Claro.
we had the entire of Corrupt
Fijaros, dos motores, primer hit de la partida.
be used up before we have our first hit. But this is a point where we have resources starting to dwindle down. We have our power now in play. We can see he's got the crutch and the splintered hole. So the splintered hole is going to help him accumulate that power fast. And we can see just one more blood orb before that's popped. Now this is where the
Y si da los motores, me imagino, estos tres motores a protegernos.
snowball starts. This is why I love Oni sets, because when you have that power going, you have that snowball potential. And now this is where the game really starts. You've got a really strong early game
Claro, aquí es donde empieza la partida de hoy.
on the survivor
Como me dice el comentarista.
side. You're down to 2 generators left. Now, if Zaka can make use of this power, then he is still in it. But I mean, this is already so close.
Aquí debe estar muerto el superviviente, ¿vale? No hay nada.
Oh, maybe Zaka can get a little bit
Va a tener a gorro, joder.
more now with the power here. That is enough time to reach the pallet, not dropping it instantly even. Flicks showing us the nerve.
Muy bien, hace la mago por derecha y se va por izquierda, perfecto.
Potentially. Oh, that's now going to be the down right here. Important for Zaka, Zach. We really needed to make sure that this is coming out now. Tournament analysis
Parece que no están reparando supervivientes.
is on point there in the background. 3 minutes 36. Yeah, it's an Oni. Yeah, it's a weak
3 minutos, creo que ha dicho 3 minutos y medio en hacer el primer cuelgue, o sea, flipar.
killer in the early game. And yeah, we are playing against Oracle with strong survivors. But 3 minutes 36 after Invictus, your direct concurrent, just managed to drop the
A duda ahí.
and
Hit.
just getting it
Ah, vale, tienes sprint.
tied towards Sinners. Then 3:36 is maybe a little bit too long here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's on the edge of something.
Claro, ahora el survi tiene que aguantar un poquito más los palets, porque si no los palets empiezan a volar en pedazos y te quedas sin palets para el final de la partida.
Maybe you really don't want. In Zaka's position right now, Ward, very nice 99% sprint burst there, it looks like, and he makes it to safety. And Onher comes through. Zaka's going to make his way down to the main building, and we do see some scratch marks. Going to be looking for Flicks, that potential target. You only see Cartney at the minute. And does make the
Ese cambio de cámara está bien, pero este no se lo va a comer.
pallet, no, a bit of an ambitious swing, and he has window there for main building, so that's going to be a very strong setup, which Zaka, rightly so, decides he does not want any part of. We're going to be making our way down to the bot side of the map. We see a blood trail here, which would indicate that is where Flix has made his way over. We do see 60% of the way, Gen, and yeah, this is really, I mean, this is deep. This is deep water for Zaka right now. I mean, he needs.
Hay un superviviente vivo, o sea, vivo, sano quiero decir.
Needs to find Flix. He needs to get that tunnel out going, that elimination, which is going to really lower the efficiency on these gens. But just look, they're already on their way to endgame, and we only have one hook on the board. If Zaka does not get any pressure
Está muerto el superviviente.
from this power, I really do think it's lost.
Ahí no puedo hacer nada.
Absolutely, yeah. Good that we have the down here on 2v1, but even this might only be the first step, because there's
Segundo
generator
cuelgue.
number 4, ladies and gentlemen. Oracle is using every single second here. We have the pain res on v1, so that's going to be a little bit of
En serio, cuando os dije que una buena partida es 6 cuelgues, de verdad lo digo. O sea, lo sé porque yo he jugado Scream con Nani contra gente muy buena y de verdad hacerme 6 cuelgues era una buena partida.
regression. But take a look here. We have the generator in the shack. We have one all the way across the map here in the main building. That is even an extra disadvantage for the killer, because you kind of
Y porque el surviviente no se ha curado. Bueno, se acaba de curar hace un rato, pero si se hubiese curado antes ya no tiene más poderes.
to enter the main building, you have to go upstairs. It's harder to defend the generator than anyone on the left or right side, where you can sometimes just lurk, and the survivors are also much more worried as soon as the Oni is approaching here. Zaka does have the power though, so they might
Están reparando el mismo motor.
be
Los dos supervivientes.
an additional chance. We do have our Iron Will player on the main building. We might see some hiding strategy later in order to make Zaka believe that the survivors rotated away, and then an injured survivor just greeting that final generator. 2 of them located down there. Now the mind game, who's dropping first, Zaka or the survivor? Seems like it's going to
Qué buena, brutal.
be Flix, and Flix with a nice
Aunque con Oni renta más hacer cuelgues frescos, ¿sabéis? A varios, a 2, 3, 4 supervivientes, porque me parece no, pero los primeros cuelgues, cuando son partidas tan justas de tan pocos cuelgues, suman mucho, porque a lo mejor, yo que sé, a lo mejor tú como quieres te haces 6 cuelgues, pero has colgado los 4, parece no, pero eso es muy importante, porque si tu rival se hace 6 cuelgues y cuelga 3, pierde la partida. Entonces parece no, pero yo aquí iría a intentar hacer cuelgues frescos, en este caso a Ward o a Carney.
being downed here by Zaka. Now the downtime is getting shorter and shorter,
Y aparte por los ganchos flagrantes, obviamente.
accumulating the hook stages here. And this hook stage here on this pathway isn't even the worst one, because now you have kind of the same distance towards the generators you're trying to defend. This might be a good turning point.
Absolutely,
Still
really
on the
smart bait out there on the drop down, and he managed to mind game that loop so perfectly. Just absolutely executed as well as you'd expect.
El sprint es muy bueno, es que literalmente no existen zonas muertas cuando tienes sprint.
We found Ward now. The on-hook comes through into that mid map. I think they recognized that wasn't the most ideal position, but now Zaka has a bit of momentum going. We do have this gen here that's been worked, and of course the map is split, but I mean, if he can get a hook on this side of the map, of course, neutralizing this gen, that would be perfect. But yeah, we're going to be going over to main building, and it's just a matter of time before this gen's done. So Zaka just needs some survivor mistakes, and this might be one. Carney going to be forcing fall from Lock, and actually gets grabbed. That's going
Erupción
to end the power. We do have about 60%
y gancho flagelante.
on the power, so
Muy bien, esto parece no, pero le da a lo mejor un minuto más de partida.
opportunities on the board. I don't believe it's going to be too difficult to get that power back. And just listening at that gen, listening to the progress on that gen, it doesn't seem like it's as far as that one on
Pues le queda un cuarto al motor.
the bot side. We have Ward working that. That's almost getting done, and we do. I mean, considering there was so much pressure early game, Zaka has a lot of options in terms of
Qué pena.
progression at least, but that is not going to help him. He has found an injured survivor here.
Uy,
Style,
uy,
and
uy,
he
uy, uy.
slow bolts into him. I don't know if that was
Madre mía, el Flix aquí, como se la ha jugado muchísimo. Yo no habría hecho eso ni de coña,
meant to happen. Flix is going to go down. That's a survivor still on hook. Flix is down now. So this is where the survivor teams start to fall apart.
Le hacen el motor, chicos.
They need to get back on their feet. They might just decide to stick the
Ahí
gen. If
está.
they do, that's going to be all 5 gens completed.
Pero Carney sigue en el gancho, Uf.
And Carney is still on the hook, so Zaka's got good information right now and
Fijaros, para la marca empezar la partida. O sea,
just about where everyone is. So we'll see if he can turn this into a 4K potentially. It's going to be very difficult though. Man, what a game!
Zaka might not. Yeah, Zaka might not even need an oracle to determine the position of the survivors, because you know
le queda nada. Un orbe de sangre.
that someone was here at the shack. You know
Uno,
where the final generator got completed. Here's Ward. That might be a good survivor to get in chase with, because Cartney and we've seen before. So Lux is pure here, but the survivors already in the exit gate. We want going down. We see the famous heal tag in order to let these survivors crawl towards the exit gate. Now it's the patience game starting.
Oh, the heal
Ward
tag.
will
No va a poder. Quiere meter un golpe hacia detrás, ¿sabéis? Pero creo que no va a poder.
continuously go for the heal here. That prevents Zaka from being able to pick up, and as soon as you go for the injury here, that's going
No han podido. Muy bien ahí hecho. Las curaciones ella al final perfectas, la verdad. Una pena. Por nada, por literalmente un segundo, diría yo.
to be the survivors moving.
Vale, pues se ha hecho 3 cuelgues, 4, 5 cuelgues. Un poquito regular, la verdad. Al final pues, lo han hecho muy bien los supervivientes. O sea, han ido a abrir la puerta del tirón. Literalmente ha sido por un segundo. Un segundo hubiese cambiado una kill más por lo menos. Así que muy bien aquí los supervivientes, la verdad. Han jugado muy bien el early, sobre todo V1, muy bien el early. Flix, hay un poquito regular en el tema de loop. Pero vamos, el equipo en general muy bien, la verdad, en el tema de Chase. Vale, vamos a la siguiente partidita. Un poquito para atrás.
Just mindset to these.
Guard, vamos contra Cinox, Marcos, Zaka e Iván. Y mira, va con duración. Este es el lado de duración. Yo prefiero el de herbes de sangre, más que el de duración. Me gusta más el de herbes de sangre.
Two things we
Y veis, vas con desconcierto. Yo ya digo, yo estoy más cómodo con desconcierto, pero eso depende del jugador. Y los tres perks iguales.
talk about when we have two teams of such a high standing.
O por ejemplo, aquí Torre Garbo en el main con desconcierto te ayuda muchísimo. El Zac te ayuda muchísimo el desconcierto.
But a little bit of a different corrupt here on the mid map instead of the top side that we usually see. But we do see some survivors already off the start. Ward's going to be making his way over, and does see someone stealthing here on the side of the map. Good game sense coming in, and that's going to be Marcos taking first chase into that corrupt area. Very standard sort of start for our corrupt zone.
La verdad que un poco mala suerte pillar al que tiene el sprint el primero. La verdad es una putada, porque creo que es el peor objetivo, porque sabes que ese no vas a poder dar un M1 en plan bien. Va a llegar al sitio que quiere.
And taking chase over to Shaq does have the bamboozle to shut down the loop, so it's not as strong as a tile if you can neutralize that a little bit, but good patience on the vault.
Esto ya es pallet, automáticamente.
Does have enough distance, might force the pallet drop at this point because that window is
Yo hubiese hecho en sentido contrario para no darle todo el mapa, pero bueno.
blocked, so pretty
Para que veas el desconcierto lo que hace.
good chase sent so far from Ward. Marcos not going to be able to use
V1 le dio 3 vueltas en el sac por tener fuerza brutal.
Shaq to its
Mucha
full
diferencia.
potential, so already in
Vale.
terms of tempo
Se va a ir a Chase, muy bien hecho.
on that bot side, which is strong with Shaq. Going to be shut down. We have a gen being worked on here. Doesn't want to commit chase on Marcos. And yeah, this is a good start for the survivors. They haven't conceded an injury yet, as you would expect. And we have 2 gens with decent progress. Marcos not really doing the thing, taking that first chase, but
Esta puerta se la abre, ya sé que tiene desconcierto y tal, pero es para cuando tenga el poder, para cuando tenga el poder con Oni que pueda, digamos, ir hacia atrás, hacia adelante con el poder.
will be going back to that gen. I believe he was seen by Ward at the start of the game. And yeah, we're just trying to find someone right now, Dyer.
Interesting to see this approach from our killer player, right? With the 3 minutes 36 that we have from the previous trial for the first down, I was expecting a much more aggressive killer, someone who's trying to get the first down within 1.5, 2 minutes in order to take, as you mentioned in the break, taking the advantage based on this. But Ward more like scouting and scanning the area, and it's understandable, right? When you're a weaker killer in the early game, you want to find a survivor who is located in a difficult spot, who doesn't have
¿Habéis escuchado la taquilla? ¿Qué es esta taquilla? What the fuck?
access to the most resources, but sometimes you can be a
Luego veremos quién tiene de frente. Creo que lo tenía Marcos, el de frente, no estoy seguro.
little bit too picky. However, the
Pero
first
se ha escuchado una taquilla claramente, vamos.
injury here is still coming in time. The question is now, are we going to see the chase onto Zynox trying the dream start where you down a survivor with them once and then having the power for the defense of the hook stage and the mobility to get a little bit of aggression against the survivors that are working on the gens, or do we go back to the scouting? And the answer seems like Ward really wants to make sure that the area here at the main building is safe, wants to collect the blood
Le queda un orbe.
orbs already to get the power in. But so far, a slow start from our killer player. A lot of calculating, waiting the chances. Do I go after this survivor? Is this my location where I want to be in? Do I have enough time to get the potential down? I can only hope that, Zach, that we are not calculating a little bit too much.
Ahí está.
Yeah, of
Pues se lo tiene bien jodido, ya os digo. Aguantar un poder a Loni es bastante jodido.
course,
Se puede, pero ya os digo. Muy complicado.
you want to scan the map for information, but if you're not acting on the information, that's going to be quite bad. Now we have Ivan in chase, someone notoriously
No, ha vuelto hacia atrás. Ahí van, seguro que ha vuelto hacia atrás. Seguro.
skill forward.
¿Veis? ¿Veis que ya sé cómo se mueven? O sea, cuando uno conoce a un jugador ya sabe cómo se mueve.
In chase, one of our top 1v1 ladder players. Ladies and gentlemen, 1v1 ladder in our Discord. If it's
Aquí van. ¿Veis? Aquí.
something that interests you, and of course, as I pick up Ivan, he goes down quite fast in the typical caster curse fashion. But that's going to be the first stage on the board, and we do see them splitting gens here, so good efficiency from the survivors of NOKRON, but this is where the game really
Gancho flagelante.
starts. We've got a mid-map hook now. This could be a score check. We'll see in just a second whether one of those gens does explode. And it looks like it was the case. And they're actually 3-splitting, so it's really a case of now you're halfway to power. You had Zynox who was injured before, so there's not actually that much power on the map to be used. So he's going to need to work for another injury here, which is actually going to set him back just a bit more. Dire. So he's maybe not as ahead as maybe we would anticipate, but
Y parece no, porque que el killer sepa que tengas o sea, que el repente sepa que tengas el desconcierto, aunque no lo uses, acojona, porque es en plan, vale, me has saltado la ventana y me metes desconcierto. Entonces eso parece no, pero ya presiona al superviviente de por sí. Aunque no utilices el desconcierto, el superviviente sabe que lo tienes. Entonces parece no, pero cambia su manera de jugar, de la diferencia de que no tiene desconcierto el killer.
yeah, he's
Supongo que me explico, si no me entendéis me lo decís.
getting information. Applying eruption to these gens. Actually, he's got eruption applied on 3 of them. Yeah, it looks like the reset happened here. He's got this pile of blood, but is that enough for power? No, it's just underneath what he needs. He needs one more blood orb.
Motorcito.
One over there to the left, yeah. So he does have one more use of power.
Cagada, descolgar aquí de
But I
gratis.
don't actually think he has all that much.
Está muerto.
He needs to make absolute maximum use of this power. If he can, forces the pallet drop from Zach.
Muy bien cancelado.
And this is quite a hard tile to really navigate, so he's going to understandably break that pallet. Zach is going to be going over to this 4 lane, and Zynox about to pop a 3rd gen and tries to go all the way around.
Buena cegada.
Does get the blind, actually. This is actually a very well played, good survivor performance from NOKRON. This is exactly what they needed. Maybe the action plan that they were cooking up in those 4 minutes was enough. And really good bad thing actually dodges out, but he's going to go down eventually. Dodges out.
Kid user Zaka, qué bien jugaste, chico, joder.
Really nice locker juke there. And he makes it to this Ormental, has the safety. This is an insane chase by Zaka.
No llegas, no llegas.
And Ward swings too early, so he's going to make it back to this 4 lane. This is
No, cagada.
huge.
Cagada. Justo ahí, cagada, se te ventana. Lo está haciendo espectacular, pero ese salto, adiós.
He needs value from his power, and that was a long chase, Dire.
Le queda nada a Loni, le quedaban yo creo 5 segundos por ahí.
Zaka is the reason why I have to always pay so much to my doctor, because watching this is incredible. The pulse goes high when you're
Ha hecho un chiste el comentarista, pero vamos, que Zaka básicamente es Dios. Y es...
seeing this. What a responsibility being taken here by Zaka in these difficult times when you have to
Una pena esa última decisión, pero lo había hecho impecable.
to make a good match against
Si Eloni no llega a dar ese poder, pierde automáticamente la partida, ¿vale? Automáticamente la partida. Pero bueno, todavía le queda por ganarla, pero hubiese tal, adiós, derrota.
Oracle here. Nice jukes, and this is hopefully now getting to the entire survivor squad, right? That needs to be communicated. There needs to be the
Que conste que no es alcohol, es un zumito, básicamente.
feeling and the vibe. We can get this done. We have
Que podría beber alcohol, pero bueno, ya me entendéis.
the control. The only tricky fact is that we are hooked next to one of the regressing generators here, so that's going to be in wards.
Lo bueno de esa estructura, ¿vale? Es que normalmente el killer no coge blulas, ¿vale? Porque nunca te ve, no te coge la chase, entonces no empieza a cogerte blulas, lo empieza a coger muy tarde. Por eso esta estructura es tan buena para darte, aunque sea una vueltecita y ganar unos segundos.
Favor, Ivan. Maybe this time without the caster curse of Zach. I'll try to not give him the same fate.
Yeah,
Let's
you
see
cast this
if
chase
it's-
this time, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna caster bless him. It's going to be the best chase that we've ever seen. See, the killer is even so afraid that he's going straight back towards the hook here. Now it's going to be the tricky game, right? The killer ward will try to perfectly balance out guarding the hook stage, making sure that the unhook cannot come through, especially
Yo por cómo está la partida, avanzaría motores, dejaría que Zaka fuese el segundo cuelgue y ya está, os lo juro.
not for free, maximum allowing a trade of 2 survivors, so they win again a little bit of time, but you have a hooked survivor again. Because the hook location right now is beautiful. You don't have to worry too much about this generator far away in case you have to risk too much. It seems like Ward thinks about this a little bit differently, but you now really need to make sure that you are getting the advantage out of the hook stage, and basically everything I
Le han bajado en el segundo estado cuelgue, ¿vale? Está mal puesto.
just explained about the advantage.
Vamos.
Worry too much about this generator far away in case you have to risk too much. It seems like Ward.
Ah, pues no, pues no.
Zach, that
Le han rescatado en el primer estado cuelgue. Buenísimo, brutal. Ya con esto yo creo que han ganado.
everything I just explained about the advantage
Le queda un motor y ha hecho 2 cuelgues. O
went into
sea, sí, eso.
nothing because we scouted here on the shack and we didn't take the advantage at all. Zach, that was a free unhook with no advantage being taken for the killer. This might turn out to be a huge mistake here.
Yeah, letting the unhook for free. He was securing the stage, but got too afraid of the progress on that bot side, and they took that opportunity to get the unhook. So good coordination from our survivors. Just not like they're just punishing Ward for these mistakes that he's making. And I know you have a low sort of win condition in terms of stages, but at this stage, you're giving the survivors just so much time to get ahead. And like we said last time, it got to a point where it was too late for Zaka because of just the pressure that was on the map. And now the NOKRON survivors have so much pressure on the map, and you only have 3 stages ready to speak of. And we're not at that 5-stage mark yet. And you're already looking at these gens with high progress. 1 left. You do have eruption on all of them. They are in close proximity.
Nada, es que tiene el mapa muy lleno, ¿eh? No va a poder hacer nada.
There is still a chance for Ward, but these chases are getting taken so far
Por
away.
ejemplo, Zaka en el se quitó muchos palets. Y Ward no.
We have 2 survivors here in chase, and they're working that one by the shack. So just you cannot afford to stay too long in this chase unless you want to commit for those stages and try and get something in the end game in the form of a trade. Of
No
course,
llegas. No
if you do
llegas.
get a fresh hook survivor right now,
Con Blue es nivel 2 sí que llegaba, pero con 1 no.
I do believe that might be the tie condition. But I mean, it's just
Y pierde la chase. F ya.
you have to
Bueno,
think
toma
about
por culo.
the decision
Ah, pues sí, pues Zaka se quedó al segundo cuelgue, vale. Pero no he hecho nada antes.
being made here. That's going to be all gens completed, and we are not at that win condition yet, Dyer. This is going to be a really crucial end game for Ward.
Tendría que encontrar a Marcos o a Zinox y que mueran en el gancho para poder ganar la partida.
Yeah, I feel like we are now in a position we
La puerta ya se está abriendo, ya os lo comunico, ¿vale?
wouldn't need to be in, right? Now we are running last second after the stages that we really need to get in. We had 5 stages on 3 different survivors in the previous game. Right now we have 3 stages on 2 survivors. So Marcos, if fully dying, that would actually be 6 stages and the chance to
hasta
make
luego.
it. But
Los petardos de triunfo.
Marcos has the exit gate in reach. The survivors already waiting.
3 cuelgues potentes. Mira, Pero os digo, es porque Zaka muy bien jugado al principio, se ha quitado muchos palets y ha utilizado muchas más veces el poder de Oni. Creo que Ward lo ha utilizado dos veces, ha tirado a dos, es cierto, pero por ejemplo ha tardado mucho en tirar a Zaka, mucho ha tardado. Está a punto de no tirar, y claro, todo eso hace muchísimas diferencias. Pues nada, muy bien jugado por el equipo de NOKRON. Vamos para la siguiente partida, que es de uno de los que os he dicho que va a salir bufado, que es lo desconocido. Ya entenderéis, porque os digo, este necesita... Vale, chicos, voy a pausar un segundo, que tengo que ayudar a mi mujer con Victoria. Ya vengo, chicos. Vale, chicos, ya estoy por aquí, ponemos el blog de notas, es buenísimo. Y nada, eso, que lo desconocido, eso va a ser uno de los killers bufados en el próximo parche, porque, bueno, ya vais a ver, de hecho, ahí lo estoy viendo que es tier 3, o sea, tiene la misma fuerza considerada que Oni, es decir, un killer tirando a débil, ¿vale? Básicamente. Y los tier 1 son muy fuertes, tier S, tier 2 son killers fuertes y tier 3, digamos que son killers normales tirando a débiles y killer 4 y killer 4 y tier 4 killers débiles. Creo que es el tier 4 es el último, me parece, si no recuerdo mal. Y nada, aquí estáis viendo que se han hecho 8 partidas con él, una media de cuelgues de 5 cuelgues, ¿vale? Para que veáis, incluso es inferior a Oni en media de cuelgues. Creo que Oni tenía, ¿cuántos vimos? 8, ¿no? O por ahí, que eran muchísimos, porque os digo, hacer con Oni 6 cuelgues está bien. Y casi siempre se le hacen los 5 motores, obviamente. Y la primera chase de 2 minutos es inferior a la de Oni, pero os digo, un killer que va a ser bufado porque sufre mucho, sobre todo contra buenos supervivientes. O si eres un poquito malo con el killer, que es normal, porque os digo, este es un killer bastante difícil de llevar, pues por eso va a ser bufado y yo lo veo, vamos, que tenían que hacerlo sí o sí. Así que nada, a ver qué tal. Ward con los conocidos.
Potential when he gets a good early game because of his decent map mobility.
El problema que tiene este killer sobre todo, es un problema principal, que fallar te penaliza tremendamente. O sea, tú metes el primer poder, o sea, el gapo, aciertas, y como falles el segundo, perma jodido, porque has perdido tiempo en meter el primero y más tiempo has perdido en meter el segundo para no meterlo. Entonces se quita el suplente todo el veneno que yo digo, el terror, y entonces tienes que volver a iniciar desde el principio. O sea, es vuelta a empezar. Es muy fastidiado todo ese tema.
There is always the chance for good results, but against survivors like this, it remains to be seen, Dyer. And we are seeing some scratch ups. We have our corrupt light spread across the map. Not really concentrated as we do see on like a yard, quite a small map. But we're just getting information on our survivors. We see 2 at Crane here.
Muy bien, aguantando ahí hasta que el suplente ya se queda más o menos encerradito.
Xanox taking the UVX, the unknown Venom X that stands for. And once that application is in, any further hits will cause an injury. With that long range and the ability to hit through walls, it is quite a dynamic.
¿Ves? Ha fallado. Ya el superviviente se va a quitar el veneno.
I feel like Unknown is quite a well-designed killer in that regard, and is always a joy to watch. And
¿Veis? El buff va a ser 2 segundos más. Contar a partir de ahora. 1, 2. Ahí se lo quitará. Fijaros que hay mucho más tiempo para pegar el segundo disparo.
a couple of 1 or 2 of our casters.
Muy bien. Creo que habría sido así justo, pero vamos, ya veis que los 2 segundos cambian mucho la película.
Really do enjoy the Unknown sets, and of course, whilst it is lower stages, it is it does leave
Y otra vez, como falle, vuelta a
the
empezar.
chance for a lot of skill expression. So.
Buena, Yere.
Like that, we get a hit around the corner. That's going to be Xanox taking the first injury, and a nice little silent set we have Dyer with no chase music, of course. The Unknown bug coming into effect.
Muy bien, aquí igual que venga para adelante porque le pegas un M1. Brutal aquí igual, muy bien jugado.
And the Linger just catching the edge of that power, and that's going to be a nice early down for Ward. Good
Muy buen early, la verdad, muy buen early.
start, good early game.
Yeah, a little bit more
Si tú te haces un cuelgue y no te encaja el primer motor, significa que es un early bueno.
of a podcast vibe without the chase music there, and Xynox greeting us with the backflip first stage into the game, but the survivors really not wasting any time. 3 of them sitting on the generators here, one of them across above 50% already. Now the pop kick coming in here, making sure that we do get the
Bueno, y Perks obviamente, pues, perde motores.
regression going.
Es lo que necesita los conocidos, porque en Chase no necesitan nada, absolutamente.
But with this early down, you can definitely aim towards an early elimination, and you have the time for yourself to make sure that you can pressure this tunnel out.
Eso no va a dar.
And that can sometimes really help defending the generators as well. The survivors usually then tend to send someone over to take some body blocks. Obviously, that pulls resources away from the generators
Le he ido por detrás, se escucha pasos por la izquierda.
here, but Ward will need some UVX shots, some injuries, or defending the hook stage and getting Zynox into second stage. We need to make sure that this is not ending in a free unhook like in
Aquí, cuando, para tunelear, la verdad que este killer va muy bien porque te sale el tío con tiempo prestado, tú le metes la bombita y ya se queda jodido. Así que el tiempo prestado no sirve para nada.
the only game, and that's not the case at all. Getting back towards the hook in time, UVX
Y mucho cuidado con defender, ¿vale? Porque la bomba afecta a los dos. Así que mucho cuidado a defender, que no es tan fácil.
shot already. We do see
¿Ves lo que hace de meterse al cuerpo para que no pueda avanzar? Eso es lo que hay que hacer, ¿vale? Es la única jugada. Si te quedas pegado a superviviente, os va a dar a los
what I anticipated. Someone is coming over to take the
Ventana, ventana.
action here. Zynox does manage to dodge it.
Muy bien aquí, Zaka. Muy bien protegiendo.
Also because Zaka was interrupting the killer there. Ward wasn't really able to aim, and that caused the miss
Muy bien, esquivando aquí.
shot a little bit. Zynox able to dodge another UVX shot. No power onto him. That is free distance, and that also means the survivor is pretty much safe. Now
Muy bien, yendo hacia full izquierda para no comerse el capo.
all you need to worry about is a normal M1 hit, a third shot, not
Aquí en este turno nomás convierte en un gapo, es lo normal.
finding the target again, and Zynox cycling through the tiles here on the Wrecker's Yard. Now with the UVX shot, dropping the pallet early, trying to extend the loop here. Almost run out. There's only a few
¿Veis? Aquí en esta estructura comes polla, ves lo que hay.
milliseconds for the shot, but we do
Porque es una estructura muy larga, ¿sabéis? Entonces los conocidos lo tienen fácil para darte el disparo.
get it done in time. However, we pulled all the way over
Pero bueno, 3 motores, muy bien para los supervivientes.
here, and it was quite an impressive chase to make up for that early down.
Yeah, we went on a bit of a journey, didn't we? We went from the top of the map to the bottom of the map, and really owing it all to that body block from Zaka. Really impressive altruism coming through to defend the teammate facing elimination. And second stage comes in, and we see
Aquí recomiendo, si jugáis de supervivientes contra lo desconocido, si veis que hay alguna copia cercana al gancho, quitarla, ¿vale? Así le quitáis la posibilidad del túnel tan fácil, ¿vale? Por ejemplo, aquí tiene 2 copias cercanas, intentar quitárselas para que no tenga el túnel tan sencillo.
survivors have gotten
Antes del rescate,
us
obviamente.
down to 2 gens remaining. Already working on these other ones, and smells a bit of a rotation over here, trying to look for someone lurking for the save. It's going to be Zaka here, lurking around, but a little bit of a slower paced game now that we have our survivor on hook, and we're really just trying to protect this elimination. Of course, the generator pressure could be much worse. That's going to be pop applied, and we see Ivan here on this maze tile here,
Muy buen disparo.
getting a nice UVX there, M2 application, and decides to leave. As Zynox
Aquí tiene paleta, aquí dentro.
has been unhooked, and we have found him straight away, so
Muy buena.
UVX going to be applied, and the pallet stun coming in, giving Xenox
Le ha metido el paletazo otro superviviente, creo, ¿eh? Porque Cinex todavía está dando la vuelta.
distance. I think that was another teammate. That was far too
No estoy seguro, ¿eh?
quickly. Yeah, with Zaka. Zaka just coming in
Yeah.
from behind and just slamming the face of wood on it. Very nice team play there. And Zynox is going to live to see another day for a little bit. Pallet drop going to be coming in, and UVX is still on him, so this could be a down. We're taking the unknown over to the corner of the map, and this is a bit of a dead zone, so it's a
Adios.
bit unsafe, and we are likely going to be seeing a down here, taking our killer
Pero bueno, le van a hacer el motor, ¿vale? Cross.
as far away as possible. Now there's eruption going to be applied on Ivan, who is working that.
Yo no entiendo, está bien que jueguen a tunelear y tal, me parece bien, pero ya sabéis que no es una estrategia que siempre funcione. Aquí lo estáis viendo, no funciona, ¿vale? La estrategia de siempre túnel, vais a ganar una partida. Sobre todo si te pones gancho flagelante. ¿Para qué te pones gancho flagelante o retumbante si vas a jugar a tunelear tan a la bestia? No sé.
Hill gen earlier, which
Este no es un killer que tira a la gente de manera fácil. Quizás tengas que poner la partida en otros aspectos.
Ward did use pop and eruption on, and that is
¿Sabes? No es un enfermo interior que te tira un suplente menos de un minuto y que vaya a utilizar todos los ganchos flagelantes seguramente. Este no los va a usar todos.
currently sat at about 50% whilst they're resetting on that. And now Zynox is going to be leaving the trial. So at 3v1, you have all of your survivors healthy with one gen remaining. So I think that NOKRON are in a good spot right now.
They are feeling good, I feel so as well. The elimination is part of the killer's plan, and the killer always celebrates when he has a 3v1 scenario, but it's not always meaning that you have an easy time afterwards. It is good if you got it done, but not a guarantee for anything. And we just saw the 3 generators in line across the entire Wrecker's Yard. That is so hard to defend. One survivor here as a bait a little bit in the corner. Ward obviously would love to down this survivor, not allowing him to jump straight back onto this generator here, but you need to worry about these generators, and they are so far away that...
Pues no sabéis, pueden crear 4 copias de los conocidos en el mapa. Si queréis que aparezca una nueva, tenéis que quitar una que haya existente.
Travel time to this outside pocket here. That's
O se quitaba la última, ahí sí no me acuerdo.
going to be so punishing for our killer. 2 survivors
No, sí, se quitaba la última. Se quitaba la última que se ha... O sea, la primera que se ha puesto se quita y se pone la siguiente.
even on a co-op mission. What trying to anticipate where they would run, but the UVX shot takes a little bit too long.
Muy buena, y la ha tirado unos petardos, pero sabe el killer que estás ahí, así que te va a quitar muy fácilmente.
Is the time for Ivan through the firecracker? The injury, yeah. No, there's not going to be any defense possible for Ivan, and that's going to be the down. And I believe someone was around here. Yeah, that was Marcos trying to take the body block, but Ward too strong through the blind. Now the injury as well. NOKRON needs to be
No, hay mal disparo.
careful. Not that this is going to turn into a little bit of a dangerous
Cuidado que se puede hacer 4K, cuidado.
situation here. Marcos needs to be on point
Qué close,
with the loot. Ward even gets the down. Yeah, hello. And Zaka was last seen on the generator over here. So
O sea, pues Zaka menos mal que se ha ocultado de puta madre, si no, GG ya.
out of nowhere, the captain responds.
Vale, se recupera Iván, muy bien aquí Zaka, muy buena decisión, para que veáis que las decisiones importan mucho.
Responsible for the comeback. Ivan back on the feet here, but Ward actually with a realistic 4K chance and back in 5 seconds.
No.
Volt gonna come through. Zakin's gonna lose that mind game, take the injury, saves Ivan.
Vale, muy bien aquí jugado por Ward, tal. Hit, cuelgue, gancho flagelante y vamos arreglando la partida.
Ivan's gonna live to see another day, but like you said, there's potential for
Pero Zaka acaba de salvar la partida, que lo sepáis.
a snowball here. I don't think Ward wants to take any chances though, so he is gonna opt for a hook here.
Para mí el error de Zaka que último es venir a por Marcos. En plan, venir a intentar curar a Marcos. Ya suficiente que has curado a Iván. Yo habría reseteado a Iván, que cuelga a Marcos y al menos hay 2 reseteados y no 2 sitios como está ahora.
You still have 3 Pain Resonances available. This could be one of them. And we'll see. So it's going to be a Pain Res applied, probably on that gen that was working on the hill. And we have
Ha tirado el amago.
Ivan there injured. It seems like they didn't have the time to reset, so this could be potentially a big read for my survivors. They're going to have to slow the game down. Actually, Unhook coming through. We have double
Esto es lo que os he dicho, de que la bomba afecta a los dos y es una putada.
UVX applied, and both of our survivors are getting in each other's way, so this might be... This could be a double down. Look at the distance between them. Oh no.
Ha fallado aquí los conocidos.
It's not. Zach is just going to live to see another day, but he will go down to the M1. Ivan is working that generator only about 50% of the way.
50% del motor. Están jodidos, Están jodidos, chicos. Sobre todo porque están todos heridos. Y esto es una situación jodida.
Ward has time here. Ward has time. Zach is going to be left on the floor, and he opts to TP away. We do have the eruption aura on Ivan, who takes chase
No va a meter el pim pam pum.
to Crane. And yeah, the game's tempo currently now completely in Ward's hand after that double down there that we saw.
Pero bueno, como va a defender el motor, ahora tendrá el pop.
And NOKRON right now are on the ropes currently, trying to get back on their feet. Marcos still in deep wound, Zach is still on the floor, and they have to play this
Dios, qué golpazo, brutal, brutal, Ward.
really carefully. And what a bounce from the UVX, gonna get down onto Marcos, and we see scratch marks. We know where Ivan is in this general direction. does get the pickup onto Zaka. This is really intense. Ivan going to be chased down now onto the broken truck, and this is looking scary, Dyer.
¡Qué lag! O sea, qué ping. Ping perfecto. A mí me habría dado la hostia.
Oh yeah, it does look scary indeed.
Porque yo no sé qué pasa, juego en España y tengo 90-60 de ping. O sea, cosa que no entiendo, voy a tener 40 y algo.
We had such efficient, strong, confident survivor team on our hands, and it all turned
Buah, que bien se han recuperado el equipo de NOKRON.
into a trial that is really looking scary. And these survivors currently trying to run towards the edge of the map, trying to waste every single second, because it either allows for the reset or getting a little bit of more percentages into the final generator. It is still not guaranteed that NOKRON is gonna take generator number 5.
A ese momento le queda pocos fases de regresión.
Here we see the scratch marks next to the gen, so it seems like they agree with each other that a full reset is currently not the option whenever there's a
Sí, dice comentarista que necesitan un full reset para poder encauzar la partida, porque estando todos ellos lo van a tener jodido.
short
Marcos está curado.
window of opportunity. They are going to put it into the generators and trying to get that win condition done. Ivan here going to take the vault. We see him taking the look at the killer there, holding the check spot. There's no room for mistakes now. You need to run the best as you have ever done.
Muy bien aquí el killer, muy bien. Iván lo ha hecho muy bien, tal, pidiendo check spots, intentando ver al killer para quitarse el poder. Pero aquí el killer se está ocultando muy bien con las paredes para no dejarse quitar la enfermedad que yo digo.
Is that enough for the UVX? It is indeed, ladies and gentlemen. So that's the down right here. Marcos and Zaka back on their feet.
Pero estaban a la izquierda.
Are they on the generators though? That's the big question. Or are they now
¿Veis? A la izquierda.
pulling back? They do. Finally, NOKRON breathing through a little bit, getting the health stages in that they need, and yeah, getting the reset to cool down a little bit, and then go for a new approach on the gens. And I feel like this is what our survivor side really needed here.
Yeah, 100%. This is going to be Ivan taking first hook stage of the game. Another pain resonance potentially in play here, but crucially the generators have taken a bit of a hit as a result of all this chaos.
Vale, no ha habido gancho flagelante.
So what still, that's not a pain resonance actually. Does have pop and eruption, of course, to secure that regression, but we see Zaka now healthy. So this is now the survivors getting back on their feet. They have a bit more time to work with. Now we just need a good mid-game chase. We need the rescue to come through, and Zaka reading that teleport quite nicely.
Qué bien, Zaka.
He dodges out on the M2, so this is exactly what they need.
Ha tenido un poquito de malos reflejos el killer.
And he misses the swing, unfortunately not going to connect on the
Yo creo que no se esperaba que el superviviente fuese a saltar.
pallet. This is a really good chase by Zaka. This is exactly what they need. Marcos is actually very close on that final gen, as you see on the left there. And that will be that bottom side of the map gen. It's going to pop, and this is exactly what they needed. The reset into the good chase is exactly what they needed for the recovery.
Muy buen hit aquí del killer.
Ivan still on the hook. Zaka now taking an injury with the M2. But Ward going to stop the rotation. And I mean, it's still 4Kable, but yeah, these gates look relatively close, and Ivan is hooked directly in between them. So it's still doable.
Buena.
Nice M2 landed onto there. That's going to be Marcos going to be at risk of injury. And Zaka right now, if this M2 lands, oh, it does.
Qué pena. Zaka caía,
It doesn't miss. Ivan's going to go second stage. Zaka now be reading from that M2, the UVX.
Claro, Zaka interesa mucho, 0 cuelgues, interesa muchísimo cogerle.
It's going to be leaving that, and yeah, he cancels that out and gets the M1. The
Pues solo se va Marcos, ¿no?
down, and now it's just Marcos. That gate is ready, so I would not be surprised if Marcos leaves the trial. Is a healthy survivor and is actually staying in the map. I'm not too sure
Se queda en el mapa, ¿por qué?
why you wouldn't leave it. Ivan's gonna go and die
¿Por la trampilla?
and might be playing for a hatch play. No, he's on the wrong side, I believe.
Sí, por la trampilla, para que el suplente fuese a la trampilla, básicamente.
Looks like he is crawling for it though. And
Ah, ya
it looks
está.
like it's gonna be
Pues escuchar muy bien, 1, 2, 3. Joder, 3 y 3, 6, 7, 10 cuelgues.
10
Brutal.
stages.
That one believe so.
10 cuelgues es muchísimo. O sea, muy buena partida de Ward. Muy buena partida. O sea, 10 cuelgues de verdad es mucho, mucho, mucho. El final de la partida puede haber sido el 4K, perfectamente. Pero bueno, ha jugado muy bien Zaka, el tema de decisiones y tal. Y se han podido resetear. Y gracias a eso le han acabado los motores. Pero si no, yo digo que se hacía 4K. Muy bien, el Ward ha empezado muy mal. Pero conforme iba avanzando la partida, lo ha hecho de puta manera. Así que mis 10. Vale, vamos con la siguiente partidita.
Good to
Vale.
Weasel.
Zaka.
But all in all, same add-ons.
Con agitación en vez de pim pam pum. Bueno, está bien. Yo os digo agitación muy buena para poder tú colgar donde te salga los cojones, incluido en el sótano del set.
Roughly the same build. So, I mean, we do typically see in sets like this when we have strong early games, or at least when we have the requirement of a strong early game, we do make a lot of comparisons. And now we're going to be looking to see how fast Zaka can get his first down. We see
Eso es jugársela mucho, lo normal es no.
scratch marks at Crane. We see scratch marks at this mid-map volatile, rather the jungle gym.
Muy bien ahí aguantando.
And nice shot onto Carney, landing the UVX. Oh, excuse me. Could have dropped that pallet for safety, and he vaults over very smartly, not giving him a chance to land that
Muy buen ese hit.
second chance. But
Apuntarlo que se puede hitar en uno de palet y golpear en otro.
the injury is going to come through, and halfway through the corrupt intervention, we have an injury onto Cartney, and Zaka's going to be chasing him down. We do have a lot of safety here in the pallets. UVX not going to connect with the M2.
Muy buen de frente aquí.
And the
Brutal.
head-on very nicely going to give
Brutal de
Carney
frente.
so much distance really nicely.
Porque...
Well played, and just dodging out on that one.
Uy, se ha
He's gonna
chocado.
make it
Se
to
ha
check. No, he
chocado.
runs into a
Se ha chocado para tener un palet al lado, porque se nos había chocado.
tree. Oh,
Por mirar mucho para
he has
atrás.
this Philip pallet for safety. Oh, that was so close. That was so close, Carney. Giving me so much stress.
Qué buena de Carney, brutal.
Now, first gen's gonna pop, and he's gonna smack Zaka in the face with a pallet. Wow, what an intense first chase.
Por poco, ¿veis? Esos 2 segundos al solo, Carney. Al solo el hubiese ido.
Delivering here for Team Oracle. We are going around the track here trying to waste
Aquí se la ha
more
liado.
time, but we are actually not aware that Zaka double backed a little bit, and being behind us, that's going to be a little bit of a quicker down than expected. 141, however, is a good start into the trial. One generator is
Ese de frente ha sido brutal.
already complete.
Si no la hecho hubiese durado bastante menos.
A second one on 50%. That is looking good. The Oracle fans can take their shirts out. Maybe it's time to celebrate the second set for Team Oracle. The important is now that we continue this, right? We have seen in the Oni game how quickly it can flip. We have seen in the previous Survivor trial on the Unknown how quickly it can flip. So you need to make sure now that you have
Ahí hay que aguantar un poquito más, hay que aguantar un poco.
perfect communication.
Ahí
That
hay
one
error
person
de
is
Zaka.
responsible for the unhook, the others keep grinding the generators, and we need 2 more good chases
Muy buena,
during the
brutal.
game that are going to make sure that Zaka cannot immediately take the
Eso también es muy buena estrategia, ¿vale, chicos? Dejar a la gente, digamos, envenenada, porque luego los tienes fácil para jetear, ¿vale? Pues no os esperan de uno.
injuries and the potential rehooks here. Looking good so far. Zaka now back onto the hook here, trying to scout the area a little bit. I mean, even this would be fine, right? If Cartney goes second
Tiene casi todas las copias, creo que en esta zona.
stage and the survivors punish Zaka with total grind of the gens, I feel like that could be good to go as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just thinking back to, I guess, where we were when the elimination happened first time around. We had a lot of delay because of the altruism by Zaka, which is, by the way, I don't think we pointed that out enough. That was an incredible effort by Zaka to protect Zynox until he reached that elimination stage. But we're looking at an earlier second stage than last match. So if we're making comparisons, we have
Segundo stage
an
de Carney.
elimination on the horizon. We only have 3 gens left. It's looking good for the survivors. They have a lot more tempo. They have a lot more speed in this. And Zach, I think, realizes that only secures the second stage. We have Felix
Por del otro lado, si no recuerdo mal, creo que la copia salía más rápido, ¿vale? Básicamente.
almost finishing that third generator. TP's away. Doesn't want to commit chase to ward, pushing him off that generator. And yeah, looks like they have the generators in mind here. Of course, Cartney is taking down eventually. I wouldn't be surprised
Muy bien, recordar cuando saltos de ventanas apuntar debajo de la ventana para que quite.
if we see a very last minute save. We did see V1 rotating there. He has been found now, so this is not going to be an easy save. I would almost say that you kind of have to abandon this because it's not safe anymore, which rightly so he does.
Qué buen hit a últimas, eh.
And what a shot from Zaka. That's going to make it even harder to save Cartney. So now they actually might be faced with the death of Cartney because V1 was the only one there for the rotation. And this changes things a little bit now because they potentially have to force a trade. Nice play by Zaka, but he does manage to slip past him. Cartney is going to be saved. Flick's taken to the floor, going to take a nap. Zaka says, stay right there whilst I kill your teammate.
Buena.
And it's all going to be based on how much distance Cartney can make. He doesn't make that. Window does have the pallet on this side.
¡Qué follada! Esto el suplente se ha puesto muy nervioso porque esto es muy esperable. Mucho juego con la ventana.
But he drops it and he's going to die because of the M2 through the window. Wow. Absolutely incredible.
No.
That hurts, yeah. That really hurts. That lost mind game there on the Shack pallet. That's really punishing now for the survivors. But they do get the generator number 4 out of the way here.
El guardia le ha metido una hostia.
Cartney going to say goodbye to us.
Cámbiame la cámara, por favor, cámbiamela. Me da igual cómo muere este.
Be the end of the trial for our survivor. But with that generator being completed, they denied the strategy for Zaka, right? The goal
Aquí se la ha ido.
was to really get the down over there, hook, and then interrupt that generator, chasing off. But unfortunately, generator number 4 is coming out. That was a huge counterplay by Oracle here. Flix staying on the ground for a second. Important that Ward and We1 are now not taking the down here. We cannot have the double slug.
Qué raro que no hayan curado a Flix en el transcurso. Aquí los suplentes pueden haberlo hecho un poquito mejor, yo creo.
One, however, still with a little bit of UVX.
Pues tampoco estoy 100% seguro porque creo que había copias cerca y quizás no tenían la posibilidad.
Remaining there, so a snipe shot would be possible.
Aquí contra este kill hay que tener muy conscientes dónde están las copias colocadas, muy conscientes.
We might see something crazy coming out in a second here, knowing Zaka.
Vale, se resetean los dos, tienen que hacerlo.
The reset in the distance will prevent that. Hopefully Zaka doesn't have the good gaming chair, knowing where they are potentially located. Moving extremely dangerous towards the Shack. Does actually sniff out these
Pues uno está herido.
survivors. We1 is healed, We1 is safe, but Ward still in.
Va a tirar a este y tendrá solamente algún clon por allí cerca.
So that
Están jodidos el equipo de Oracle.
might be a quick down, and We1 just ran towards the corner there. So if this is basically an instant down, then We1 might not be able to circle around to get the unhold. Zaka knows that as well, now trying to cut him off. But again, we see the turning point, Zach, right? Because the survivor team now playing to stay on their feet. They are not in charge anymore. Zaka decides at the moment what's going. So they need a long chase here in the mid game. They
¿Por qué poco? Muy bien aquí el superviviente yendo hacia la izquierda.
need to find the reset. Otherwise, Zaka might be able to take control here.
Yeah, I mean, the big difference for me is that last time we had NOKRON
Está fallando aquí Zaka.
map, with that third man just sort of pumping that generator, but it's a bit of a difference now because the Oracle are a bit scattered, to be honest. Zaka has complete control and has the information he needs to run these survivors down. And
Este era tienes con sangre loquete, no puedes hacerlo, esto estando herido.
he's a bit of a chase, and he actually sniffs out the head-on. He didn't see any scratch marks going around, so that was very interesting. I think they were trying to protect Flix there potentially with the head-on, but Ward's taking the down actually. That's going
Utilizar el guancho para la grande, me
to be
imagino.
devastating right now because you have UVX on Flix injured,
Ahí está.
in complete danger of going down. We have V1 still injured, and they need this reset off, and Zaka is just absolutely not letting them get ahead. Oh, V1 very smartly actually rotates and gets the save. That's going to come through any second now. And unfortunately, Flix has been found. Does dodge out the UVX? Does he have a pallet here? No, nothing to work with.
Llega.
Just this T and L wall.
Aquí no,
Doesn't have
aquí no
enough
llega.
distance to make this pallet. I don't think, yeah, he's going to go
Ahí se ha motivado Flix.
down. Honor comes through. The reset's only just starting, but Zaka TPs. He's not giving them any room to breathe. They did move
No les ha visto, no les ha visto.
away from the hook a little bit.
Están ahí,
He's
están ahí.
trying to figure out
Están a la
where they've
derecha.
gone.
Por aquí están.
Looking into the corner, it looks like they went to the
Ah, mira, ya se movió uno.
side.
Qué
Good to see
rápido.
a survivor rotating over
Muy,
there.
muy rápido.
for the unhook. And yeah, I don't. It's going to be very, very difficult for Oracle to come back from this. You know, compared to before, where we saw a lot of distance made, it doesn't seem like we have that kind of comparison to make here.
Yeah, I'm also a little bit worried at this point, because what NOKRON has achieved in the previous trial when we were in this difficult situation was the full reset, right? They have gone for it.
Se está poniendo abajo, muy bien hecho. En este sitio normalmente el killer nunca va a vigilar.
Here we had the all breathe. It is, and
Vale, ahí está.
now basically they have achieved what we've seen in the previous trial, the clean reset, with the chance to restructure the pressure, with the chance to reorganize how they want to attack the generators that need to be taken care of. So there is a chance. Now I'm much more positive when I see that they have achieved that, but still we need one great chase, either from Flix now, that is 100% going to get himself into the tunnel out here, or by Re1, who will just unfortunately take the trade. No good chase
Intercambio,
possible yet.
normal.
A little bit of time being gained for
Vamos, creo que esto es un 4K, porque el motor no va apenas avanzado.
our survivors. That's going to be a
Y ahí ha sido su último gancho flagelante.
full 2 minutes basically for our survivor side. That's a chance you can take care of, but Ward needs to basically
Muy bien este mago para llevarse un M1.
make a run of the gods here.
Yeah, I almost want to say Ward's the better person to go for that trade there, because he did not concede a pain resonance stack. That was the last
Uy, por poquísimo.
Scourge hook stack that Zaka had, and it basically deleted all the progress that they got on that Shack gen that Ward was working on. So again, the survivors have just seemed to reset themselves, and now we have two injured survivors again. The gens are back to square zero. We've gone from being super happy and positive to being in the same situation we were just in.
Hostia, qué buen transporte.
And the TP is going to come through.
O sea, TP me refiero.
Ward's going to take him down.
El transporte 3.
And now it's just flexed on his own. It's just gone
Qué peliculón.
completely upside down, which is, yeah, not great. And we do see
El Flix creo que va a hacer partida alta.
some scratch marks, so Zaka's going to know roughly where Flix is. Got a Terror Radius close by. And what is this? Is this actually just going to...
Liberación por parte de V1, no sabemos. Creo que contra este killer nos permite liberación igualmente.
generate the pallet vault to say, hey, come chase me. I wonder what the play is here. I'm not entirely sure. But maybe just taking aggro, but this is going to be the 4K1 secured there. I mean, just kind of out of nowhere.
Muy bien aquí, Flix.
It really came. It was such a up and down, such a roller coaster here. Both unknown trials, I feel like,
Qué bien.
have the handwriting of the killer players. A lot of difficulties, and then keeping the
hasta
survivor
aquí.
team under control and making such a beautiful play.
Hasta luego.
It does feel a little bit more surprising,
Vale, hasta luego, Chanti. Pues muy bien.
right? That you
Este es el primer 4K con el desconocido esta season después de 10 partidas, para que veáis, el primer 4K. O sea, 10 partidas haciéndose 3 cuelgues, 4 cuelgues, 5 cuelgues, pero primer 4K. Esto es muy raro verlo, ¿vale? Brutal, ha jugado Zaka, brutal, o sea, sin palabras. Muy bien, ha tomado decisiones, tal, no sé qué. Muy bien. La primera chis rapidita, así que nada. Vamos al siguiente killer que también va a ser bufado en el siguiente parche.
Welcome.
Ahí está. Ah, no, esta no, esta... Espera, ¿iba a ser bufada? Esta... Sí, creo que sí. Creo que iba a ser bufada.
Back everyone to the potential final
O me fumo un porro, quizá me fumo un porro, chicos. Disculpadme si me fumo un porrete.
trial of the day. We have NOKRON.
Pero bueno, este es un killer, mira, pues tier 2, eso, con cierta fuerza, pero eso, normalmente es muy difícil hacer 4K con él, muy difícil. Se puede, pero es complicado. Ya lo vimos en el mundial, que los comerciantes, o sea, comerciantes que las pasadoras, como yo digo, sufrían por las partidas. Y es eso, en Chase tiene cierto counter que, digamos, la aplaca un poco, que es esperar a que te tire el perro y luego tú tirar el palet para digamos, matar al perro y encima quitártelo de encima. Así que veremos a ver cómo lo juegan los killers, pero os digo, no es un killer fuerte, pero tiene Tiene bastante. Aquí tiene muchos reflejos, lanzar el perro, pum, luego el segundo viaje muy rápido. Y como estés un poquito fallón, te pasan por encima.
Versus Oracle. NOKRON currently 2-0 up in the sets. And
Después de la primera chase, ¿cuánto has dicho?
welcome back
Yo veo la primera chase, ¿cuánto tiempo
everyone
es?
to the potential
1 minuto y medio. Bien, o sea, un tiempo normal.
final trial of the day. We have NOKRON versus Oracle. NOKRON currently 2-0 up in the sets. And now we have Houndmaster currently. And we're already...
¿Veis? Aquí ha roto el superviviente. Ha tirado el palet sin comerse el perro. Así que ahora se ha comido el perro, rompe el palet el killer y encima, pues en mi aquí el superviviente lo ha hecho mal.
finding our first survivor. Ward going to be bitten by the dog. And we're going to be waiting for that hindrance to come through when the dog...
Interesante, espera a que el perro la deje de morder.
Go of you have a hindrance applied, and that is what Zaka's trying to achieve right here, and that's going to be Ward in, a bit of hot water coming into it. A lot of action straight off the bat. This is going to be on Cold Tower 2, so the second variation of the map. And Houndmaster is something I think that Zaka as a killer player is very
Muy bien aquí el superviviente, no tira el palet, continúa recto y luego ha esquivado el segundo viaje. Muy bien.
very experienced on. Of course, when he was on Eternal, this is a very favorite pick for them, considering the strong survivor side, but also Zaka is very strong on the killer side.
Esto también lo hacemos mucho, tiras el primer viaje, vuelves al asesino, amagas y te vas al perro el segundo viaje. Aquí el superviviente lo está jugando muy bien.
Missing out on these dogs. Unfortunately, though, Ward very nice dodges coming in, and we're just going to be continuing.
Muy bien Ward,
Dog, and he gets the pallet stun. It does
Aprovecha el viaje, va a meterse un brutal.
have the window there to be used, and that's going to be Ward living to see another day.
Buena primera chase perdida, muy bien jugado Ward, brutal.
My goodness. But yeah, this, I mean, we compared to last match, actually. We had...
Por cierto, hablando de perks, se me ha olvidado, disculpadme, esta perk puede llegar a darte un par de one-shots en la partida, porque si este killer va muy rápido hacia los motores con el perro, metes un M1, te vas, luego vuelves y puedes meter un M1 perfectísimamente.
A 2-0 and then a 2-0 reverse sweep, so I don't know, there's potential for that to happen again. My hopes were a bit high. NOKRON definitely playing on form today, and unfortunately Oracle a bit behind on the mark. Gonna
Ese M1 era por si acaso volvía al palet.
be swinging through that pallet, not gonna connect, and flicks. Gonna be the next target, and the dog
Muy bien, se mueven muy bien los supervivientes.
just misses. This is actually taking quite a while to get our first down, and the
Adiós.
pallet stun's gonna come through, not gonna fall for that swing, and Ward now gets reset off in the distance, and all of the pressure that Zaka had coming into
Muy bien este segundo viaje.
has been reset. As I say that, Flicks taking the dog bite right there. Pallet going to be dropped, and honestly, a bit of a chaotic start for me, Diet.
Muy bien aquí la Killer, se va para afuera y luego se va para, o sea, se va para adentro y luego se va para afuera. Muy bien aquí. Que el killer falle el perro.
Yeah, I think chaotic start really fits. I feel like there are survivors swarming around the chase from time to time, and you would love to see that everyone is basically on a generator and that we are not running through the generators that are currently being attacked, right? But the first one already coming out together with the second, maybe
Aquí es que vas al perro pero te comes al killer.
Oracle.
Dos motores, muy bien.
Just looking a little bit unorganized, but on the generators they seem to deliver, ladies and gentlemen. So 2 minutes 24.
2 minutes 24, 2 minutos y medio casi, chaval.
Average is
En hacer primer goleo.
129. That is actually an impressive early game. Maybe we have to take it back. And Oracle just absolutely delivered here. Maybe it was a mind game, looking a little bit chaotic. So Zaka feels a little bit safer than he actually can feel. Going into the main building here, we have a little bit housekeeping to do. The breakable wall over here needs to be removed, and the generator needs to be kicked. Interested to see what the Dragon Script is going to bring us, Zach. So far, I feel like there were a lot of plans with the Dragon's Grip in Season 10, and it very rarely turned out to be beneficial. So I'm not sure about this perk yet. It seems like a true gamble.
Or when you're on a stage like this where you have 4 survivors healthy, you
Well,
definitely
hit
get
igualmente,
value
vale.
you've got 60 seconds of exposed status on that survivor, so Houndmaster's one of those killers that can traverse the map quite fast. When she sends her dog out to search at a gen, if she
No sé por qué tarda en pegar el hit. No sé si es para evitar la idea profunda y se pueda comer el 3%. No estoy seguro.
Follows in the trail of it. She gets an
Si alguien no sabe que lo diga o algo, yo esto no termino de entender.
enormous speed increase. So when you're using the dragon grip in
Muy bien, aquí el te ayuda con el perro.
sort of tandem with that can lead to maybe some situations where you'll get some value. But like you said, so far in Season X, we've not really seen too much.
Ahí cuando el killer prepara el perro, tú ya estás mega.
Nice untrap from the dog there at the main window, but V1's going to actually take a down for it, unfortunately. So protecting Cartney there, costing his own life. Eruption going to come through onto that top main generator that was kicked. But yeah, we've got 2 stages on the board, and it's looking quite slow for Zaka. I feel like Howmaster is not one of those ones that really can be slow. Actually gets killer
Muy buen olfato aquí por parte de Zaka.
sense on someone hiding edge map. That was really good game sense, and it's gonna be
Sí,
Wood
muy buen game sense por parte de Zaka, sí,
there
señor.
that was stealthing for the unhook. Oh, that was incredible game sense from Zaka. To be honest, I'm very surprised.
No le ha
Actually,
dado,
the dog
chaval.
uses
Qué
that. I
locura.
thought he
Yo
had
pensé que le
enough
daba.
distance to make that, but Ward is just a dodging. I don't know what the word is. He's very good at dodging. V1's going to be unhooked right now. Going to be broken, maybe indicating a second wind in use. Ward now getting chased. We do have the injury. Never mind. It's actually going to be
Hay que
Flicks that we're
fallado.
seeing on this gen here. So, bit of indecisiveness. Going to lose Ward. Actually go into this area
A ver si se come la per del agarre del dragón.
looking for him. It looks like Zaka really wants Ward. He is at this pallet gym. Does have the pallet dropped for safety, but this is where we saw the chase last time. It didn't go very well. Over the pallet, and he's going to very smartly hold that corner
Este despeto por parte yo creo que era un poco obvio.
and does have enough distance. Actually takes the vault, forcing Zaka to break that. This is a really impressive survivor performance so far by Oracle, I have to say. Double vault, that's going to force the window to block. Does have a pallet here, I believe. Filler Godrock, it is dropped.
Muy buena.
And
Muy
yeah,
buena.
it's not going to have enough distance because the dog will hold him in place for the down. So that's going to be third stage, third unique stage of the game. So building up a bit of a win condition here, but we are still at
No engancho para adelante, se lo está guardando, o a lo mejor se sostiene muy lejos.
3 gens though. I should probably note there. We are still at 3 gens.
Qué pena, por poco.
Never mind, Zach.
Never mind.
Gen number 3. Oracle
I'm
is doing
cursing
the
everything, aren't I?
homework.
I'm cursing everything.
Yeah. Or you cast a blessed Oracle this time. It's always a
Maybe.
question of perspective, but they're doing a good job. They have the chases. I feel like they are doing their homework on the generators. It's good to see. The question is, will they be able to continue that towards the end game, or will we see this roller coaster dynamic continuing a little bit, and then obviously
Eso ha tirado el predict, se lo había intentado.
for the next trial already, the question is the killer able to follow up on a potentially good result for Oracle here? For that, we do need a good mid-game chase now that can potentially lead us into 4th and 5th generator being completed. And the responsibility for
Buenísima.
that lays on Cartney, who's now playing with the dog a little bit. Zaka gonna wait again for the hindered effect here. We do see Dragon's Grip in the distance, serving as a
Ah, no, ya sé para qué lo hace. Pues si os fijáis, el sprint tiene mucho menos sprint. No sé por qué sucederá esto, pero es cierto que tiene mucho. Si le das con el hit, con el muriendo del perro, tiene un sprint más largo. Pero fijaros dónde se ha quedado al lado.
an information tool
¿Veis? Está muy cerca, ¿verdad? No, yo creo que sí. Está bastante más cerca.
also a little bit. The Firecracker not going to
Qué pena.
find the target. We do have someone assisting Cartney here, if I saw that correctly, but currently circling around the eye loop for now. A relatively strong tile that's going to take a few seconds here to catch back up, especially with Ward taking the hit there. Flicks and V1 working on 2 individual generators, and Zaka
Los dos motores están a punto.
now has to rotate, realizing the clock is ticking. It takes a little bit too long.
No,
So we're
mal
gonna make
perro
it
ahí.
back towards the
Aquí ya estamos, ¿vale? Porque la colina no tiene nada.
the main building here onto the hill, and our survivor just remembering the famous comp corner. So we're getting back here, wasting some time, but we should
No llega a ese flagelante y la hacen en el motor.
get the gen done, Zach, and the end game should be in reach.
Yeah,
Se lo
what an
hacen,
incredible
se lo hacen,
survival
se lo hacen.
performance. I want to point out the two people playing in chase right there.
Buah, chaval, por nada. Por el pelo del coño de una monja.
Actually, a very smart move. Oh no, he just does not get it with the pain risk. That's actually going to buy Zaka so much time now to go up into that main building. Sees the survivor lurking, and I was just going to point out the altruism in terms of how master sets. When you get those long range dog hits, the untrapping of the dog when you
Vamos a fijarnos a ver si lo hace ahora.
bring your teammate from is actually quite fast. So I do support.
¿Veis? ¿Veis cómo ¿veis que su venta está tomando por culo? Es por eso. Pues mira, esto es una cosa nueva que he aprendido ahora, ¿eh? Que su venta se aleja menos distancia si dejes que se libere del perro. Para que veáis que ya digo, yo no me lo sé todo y aprendo, me encanta aprender cosas nuevas de gente tan buena.
That's one thing I wanted to highlight. It's something that you can quite often see in altruism in sets like Doctor, where you're dropping pallets to your teammates. It's one of these things that our survivors have learned as how Master has become a more sort of regular set that's played. That is something that you can do to alleviate pressure from the teammate in chase, potentially a tunnel out target or whatever. But yeah, Ward now going to be on the hook, and we're taking Chase actually over to the hook area. Looks like
ahora debería hacerlo, lo de esperar.
Flix maybe wants to go for the rescue, but the dog is pulling her further away. Gonna take that hook, and it looks like we might be in a bit of a sticky situation. The gen that they were working on.
Sí, sí. No, se van menos. Un par de metros, pero se van menos lejos.
Is in this area. We have Flix now facing.
Oh, muy bien la Claudette. La Claudette se está moviendo muy bien el Flix, de verdad. Muy bien está moviendo este chico.
Facing death, and Ward looks like he might die. It looks like he is. Yeah, so that's gonna be Ward gone. This game is just completely turned around after that pain res, and they weren't able to get that gen done. It just seems like it's gone completely upside down. Never mind, the gen gets finished. Flix is gonna go down.
Por poco.
And only one elimination so far. Flix gonna be taking, I believe, a second stage of the game. And I mean, to be
Tiene las dos puertas cercanas, al cuelgo.
honest, it's still a good result for Oracle if they can potentially get out here, Dyer.
Hostia, ahí están lejos, bastante lejos.
After the comeback that was
Un cuelgue más se hace seguro, 100%, mínimo.
needed because the comeback was following the comeback earlier, and then the comeback followed based on the comeback that we have seen here. And maybe Zaka will now make a comeback after the comeback of Oracle in response to the comeback that NOKRON did earlier. You know what I mean,
Qué buena, brutal,
ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about a lot of comebacks here. That means it is completely open how this is ending, right? I feel not confident anymore to predict anything because...
Sí, mirad, ¿veis? Ah, no, es por eso y por el CD del perro, porque así lo tienes instantáneo según sale de la carrera. Por esas dos cosas. Brutal, muy bien empujado por Zaka.
Carney might go quickly down here, and Zaka might just, I don't know,
Buah, muy bien aquí por Carney y Zaka aquí lo ha jugado regular porque tenía que haber simplemente aguantar y lo pillas. Con el primer viaje.
And then we are going to have, I don't know, radar scouting for the survivors here, and then we get a 4K, or they might all three walk out.
F. ¿Habéis visto el perro que ha ido al motor encendido? F. Se le dio la carrera, toma por culo.
Of the door here. You don't really know in this matchup between Oracle and NOKRON. They're coming in here. They are trying to defend the team member. They are trying to make sure that everyone is getting out of the door here. And we won with the perfect body block position, making sure that Zaka can...
Buah, muy bien jugado por V1 aquí en la defensa, muy bien. Y Carney se ha escapado por haber fallado ese primer viaje. Pues era ahí, aguantar y merendar.
Cannot catch up. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be Oracle with yet another
Pero es por eso.
and this body.
Vale, pues han sido 3, 5, 6 cuelgues. 6. El Carney era cuelgue de fresco, ostras. Eso habría sumado muchísimo. O sea, si hubiese colgado a Carney y muerto, ya es victoria prácticamente. Pues ya 9 cuelgues. Muchos cuelgues. Pues 6 cuelgues. 3, 2, 5, 6. 6 cuelgues. Vale, vamos a siguiente partidita. Aquí, más o menos. Vale. Ha jugado muy bien Zaka quitando ese final. Ahí el final ese... El resto, los suplentes también juegan y han jugado también bastante bien.
It is definitely doable what we need. but
Buen petardo.
you never know what NOKRON had
Y buen vale para protegerse, perfecto.
prepared here. They're using the resources very early, dropping a pallet
Mismas perks y mismos saltos.
and the firecrackers. 6 stages. That is basically the equivalent of 2 eliminated survivors plus 1 additional stage. That seems doable as a Houndmaster, right?
Yeah, especially if you can get an early hit here. Very nice onto Ivan. Bounce landing was used, but again, we see this hindrance being made the most of, and that's going to slow him down as he runs away.
Sí, sí, sí. Es para que no llegue tan lejos.
It doesn't actually make enough
Sin duda.
distance. Has to use this filler, but it's not very safe. We're actually using the search function instead for the speed.
Me ha gustado mucho esto. Esto no lo ha hecho Zaka, igual lo acaba de hacer. Ha utilizado el movimiento para acercarse su y hitear. ¡Mua! Brutal Warz aquí, muy bueno.
Does it pay off? It does. Well, that's really interesting. Doesn't actually.
En loops que son más o menos medios, quizás es más rentable tirar el perro en modo rastreo para tener velocidad de momento que tirarlo a coger superviviente.
Oh, to go for the grab. Just uses the search function for the speed. That's actually
Muy buena, muy buena,
unique
muy buena,
way.
sí,
I've
muy
never
buena.
seen a Houndmaster use it
Muy
that way.
buena.
So, Ward already showing prowess on the mechanics there, and this is a very early stage, and we
No utiliza Wild Shot flagelante, interesante.
don't have a gen pop. The closest gen, I believe, was about 60% of the way. So that's super early pressure for Ward here, and let's see if he can make the most of it. See if he can snowball it. We don't see anyone at that gen. We see Zaka here working this one. Dragon Script's going to be applied as well as Eruption. We didn't see a Pain Resonance stack used. Whether that's down to RNG or
Ha sido la chica, ¿no? Creo.
personal preference of Ward maybe not using it so
Muy buen por los demás.
early on. For the people going to be used onto Ivan to keep him safe as the potential target for a tunnel out. But now the chase is
Se va arriba para que quede equilibrada, obvio.
reset. The shaky positioning that we saw early on. Not going to be used, but is there enough distance here for Marcus to his pellet? I think it is. I think there is. He's going to stay alive.
Qué buen lanzamiento, según pasa por la esquina, ¡pum! Guard me está gustando mucho mecánicamente.
Just a bit longer. The pallet drop isn't going to...
O sea que no he visto para nada malo a Zaka, conste, ha jugado muy bien, pero Guard estoy viendo detalles que me está gustando mucho.
give him too much distance. He is forced to stay at this fall lane, and now we have a second stage, Dire. We are 30% of the way to the tie condition, and not a single gen has popped.
Ahora sí que es gancho para adelante, chicos.
That is either the sign, yeah, that we have some individual generators being progressed,
Buah, qué putada. Es el segundo motor.
and not a double
Y ahora ese gancho para adelante ha entrado, o sea que había un tercer motor ya avanzado.
up. Come, give me a third.
Muy bien aquí por español reparando, muy bien la
Give
reparación.
me a third. NOKRON.
Happening. It's not happening.
Okay.
Not happening. No.
Satch, not happening, but very good to see at least 2 of these generators coming out here. Marcos on the hook there. Zynox drags the killer a little bit towards the shack. We can tell Ward doesn't really want to chase there, expecting that someone is already coming for the rescue in the distance. So let's see if it's Zynox or Zaka's responsibility. I believe we have seen Zaka rotating. Zaka has now gone back towards the generator, which also shows us every single second counts, right? And now it's survivor number 3, Zynox, coming in order to make sure that Marcus is being rescued. Will also be interesting to see Ward's
¿Con quién está el killer?
strategy here. Whenever we are talking about a win condition like 6-7 stages, we sometimes see that the killer is not going for the classic
SM1 que ha venido.
elimination gameplay. Okay, someone is angry. But instead trying to split the hook stages across 4 or 3 individual survivors in order to gain the advantage there. And here 6 stages
Esto es hit, creo.
on 4 survivors would also be enough in order to take the win.
Muy close.
And that seems to be the
Tiene éxito bastante, es lo bueno.
case here. We are not going for the
Nah, no se lo va a dejar aprovechar, muy bien aquí el killer.
classic tunnel out strategy.
Oh, nice smash up value, but it doesn't actually make any difference.
Uf, aquí está muy lento los reflejos, pero es muy difícil, es muy difícil, porque tienes que estar pendiente del perro, tienes que estar pendiente del killer, en plan, a ver por dónde coño te viene la hostia.
Now it's going to be Zaka going down third.
Es una situación difícil, las cosas como son,
Hook on the third survivor. Like you said, one more unique hook onto Zynox, and then he only needs 2 stages. He needs an elimination secured, but wow, we're still at 3 gens. We are working on main building, which is quite far. And it looks like we are splitting the final 2. But yeah, it seems like Ward has somewhat control on the game. He needs to interrupt one of these gens, preferably the one that Ivan's working on in the main building. Does know he is up there working on that. But, oh, never mind. He is actually just... He's relocated, Die.
Pues todos los motores solamente caigan antes de que el killer haga algo, yo creo, ¿eh?
Down to the right-hand side. And Ward is sort of proxying this area, trying to see... Maybe
Básicamente va a estar proxy campeando.
trying to opt to... Maybe try to defend this top side, actually. It does have somewhat of a 4-gen. Houndmaster's not the most effective at defending stuff like that, but is doable. And this is a relatively... strategic, well, an easily defensible hook, but it just doesn't seem like he's very interested in camping that. What's the second stage? Oh, the...
Hostia, qué cagada llevan. Aquí error, porque le ha pillado en el salto, que es cuando te pillan el salto, ya saben dar la paleta, el perro te hiere directamente, no te coge, te hiere. Y claro, el killer no sufre ningún limpieza de arma, entonces te tira instantáneo. Aquí van error muy grande.
Oh, we're gonna get 2-tap because he faults! Oh, wow! So he gets the injury mid-vault, and then Ward just 2-taps him.
Por eso tienes que tener mucho cuidado, ¿vale? Con los saltos, porque el perro os muerde y luego el killer está libre.
That's actually... Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, there was a fumble here, unfortunately. Maybe the nerves a little bit when you know Invictus took the 2-2 and now you have the huge chance. Let's see. And we are now going to scout for the next survivor here. Going back towards the main building, trying to check on the generators. Ward definitely feeling good here, definitely has a reason to feel comfortable. And we have someone over here. I feel like I heard someone running away. Yeah, here's one more survivor that we can go into chase with. Zynox moving over towards the main building here, back towards the midsection actually. They are all dragging the killer towards the shack.
No sé por qué tiran el perro tan rápido.
Wonderful strategy because this, the generators are
Pero bueno,
on the other side.
yo aguantaría un poquito el perro para asegurar el hit.
So I really love seeing that.
So we have the shack pallet drop, so Xanox is going to live to see another day just for a little bit.
Muy bien, Xenox aquí.
But does he have enough distance to make the window in time? He does. He does opt to go for it. No double vault. And he's trying to use the dog here. I don't know. I feel like he might want
Uf, por poco,
to make that. No, it's so close though, actually. He's not opting to break this pallet. It's the safest pallet in the game. He breaks it now. He
Se le va la partida,
Clearly
No
he
está
is.
Se le va.
calling for the pallet break, but Xanox is still injured. We have Scratchbox going.
Lo bueno que tiene es cuelgue fresco. De hecho, será su cuarto cuelgue. Así que en caso de cuarto cuelgue y llegar a empate a 6, perdería NOKRON.
Over to the edge of the map, and yeah, Xanox is creating a lot of distance here. I have to question the decision making now a little bit at Shack by Ward. I felt like maybe he could have zoned Xanox a bit better, but opting to not go for the pilot actually does get the down eventually. The last.
¡Hostias! Creo que ese toque de esperanza al final le ha hecho fallar el Fatal Killer.
Turns done, but he actually makes the. Oh my goodness! He could
Vamos a verlo, pero creo que os lo juro.
zone Xanox a bit better, but opting to not go for the pilot actually does get the down.
Sí, sí, sí. Os lo aseguro. Ese hit, que parezca mentira, ha sido pues de 7% dentro de 20 segundos, porque si no llegaba el hit.
Eventually, the last turn's done, but he actually makes the.
¡Hostias!
Oh my goodness! He whiffs and he makes the pallet.
Que le protejan, por Dios, que le protejan.
So that Xanox not going down now. We have the body blocks coming in, and we have not reached the win condition yet. This is going to be close. We have the gate working in, and we have
Bueno, no
three
creo.
survivors build a wall, protect Xanox. That's going to be Zaka down, but he's going to be enough. They untrap Zaka, and this is going to be all 4 survivors leaving the trial potentially.
Muy buena.
Is this going to be the 3-0 secured?
Claro, si trae mal no pasa nada, porque sería 3, 4, 5. Y NOKRON tiene 6.
Wow. We were wrong, Dai.
Ya está.
We had high hopes for Ward with such a strong early game. Does he actually make out?
3, 4, 5. O sea, 5, madre mía. Por 1, literalmente. Y ya os digo, vamos, ha sido brutal de la esperanza. ¡Qué locura! La mejor esperanza que le puede tocar a Xenox en su vida, literalmente. En el momento apropiado para tener un poquito de celeridad y que el killer falle el hit. Madre mía. Y luego la han defendido muy bien. ¡Wow! Esta se podía haber perdido perfectamente, porque a mí, sinceramente, me ha gustado más mecánicamente hablando, ¿vale? El nivel de Ward y el tema de decisiones ya es otra película, pero el nivel mecánico de Ward me gusta más. Le he visto, no sé, más ágil con el perro. Ha tenido fallos, obviamente, porque también los suplentes de NOKRON juegan, pero vamos, han reparado muy rápido, muy rápido. Los dos gachos flagrantes de Ward, cuando iba a meter un gacho flagrante, le han hecho justo 2 motores. Eso ha sido un fail que te cagas. Y por eso, por detalles, ha ganado esta ronda el equipo de NOKRON. Así que nada, un 3-0 puede ser un 2-1 perfectísimamente e irnos a la cuarta ronda. Así que nada, ahora es que todavía no ha ganado una ronda, ¿eh? Todavía no ha perdido, de momento van 0-6, o sea, no ha ganado ni una ronda. Y nada, y NOKRON, pues otra victoria que suma. Y nada, la gente está flipando. O sea, la gente, Hope, oh my god, es Hope, en plan top 10 Hope moments. Es que ha sido brutal lo de la Hope. Qué locura, ha sido súper determinante. Así que nada, chicos, decidme si os ha gustado la partida, si habéis aprendido un poquitín. Y nada, nos vemos ya la próxima semana. Tened un excelente fin de semana. ¡Mua! Un abrazo, chavales. Chao, chao.